everybody, my name is Natalia Leigh and I'm the author of the young adult novels Highborn and Way of Spears, and today I am going to be giving you 11 tips to help you stay motivated to finish your novel. Let's get started. Alright, I have them on my phone here all typed out for you, so let's get right into it. So this first tip might be a little bit controversial, but my first tip is to have an outline. If you have an outline, then you know where you're going with your story, you know how you're going to finish all of your character arcs, you know the entire plot, and then you don't freeze up or get stuck because you're lost somewhere in plotland and don't know where to go next. So definitely consider having an outline. If you are a plotter like I am, then that should be no problem. If you are a pantser, then maybe just give it a go. Maybe just a small outline or just a few beats along the way. And I think that'll really help guide you down the right path and help keep you writing rather than you getting stuck and giving up partway through. My second tip is actually to watch YouTube videos. There are a bunch of author-tubers out there now that you can watch. You can watch videos like this that are how-tos. You can watch writing vlogs. You can watch author interviews. There are just so many amazing videos out there that will inspire you and motivate you to keep on working on your project. So after you finish this video, if you need motivation, check the sidebar and click on a few of those videos and see if they inspire you. My third tip is to allow yourself to write badly. Years ago, before I had finished any novels, part of my problem was that I was judging my work so harshly that I could never allow myself to finish anything. And you have to understand that the first draft is the worst draft. And the best thing you can do is just finish it, get it all out, and then in drafts after that, you can go back, clean it up, and make it really shine. But you can't shine anything or edit anything that hasn't been finished. So make sure you finish the first draft and then you can make it sound really nice. My fourth tip is to listen to your writing playlist, or if you don't have a writing playlist, to create one. One of my favorite things to do is daydream during the day, and I like to come up with songs that remind me of scenes in my book or that remind me of characters or relationships between characters. So then when I'm working on that scene or I'm writing that character, I can easily go back to my writing playlist, listen to those songs, and then I'm instantly inspired and ready to write. My fifth tip is to get creative and artistic. You can draw your characters and make character art. You can draw maps, especially if you're writing a fantasy. You can fan cast characters, like choose the celebrities that look like your characters. And this can be a lot of fun. However, it can also be a slippery slope, because when I first started writing, I would spend all my time doing this and figuring out how the characters look and how I want them to sound and what I want them to wear, and I would get so caught up in that I wouldn't actually write. So remember that this is not writing, this is just helping you get inspired and motivated to write. My sixth tip is to set small, manageable goals. If you set outlandish goals for yourself, you're going to feel like a failure when you don't achieve those goals. So if you set small goals instead, such as write 5 days a week or write 100 to 500 words a day. Those are much smaller and more manageable goals, and then when you start achieving those, you're going to feel really proud of yourself, and it's going to make you want to write more and work harder rather than making you feel like a failure and making you want to give up. I'm somebody that loves setting goals and then achieving my goals, so this works really, really well for me, and if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. Alright, tip number 7 is kind of a funny one, and I don't know if it will work for lots of other people, but it definitely works for me. And that is allowing myself to be envious of other writers and authors. When I look through YouTube videos, for example, there are author-tubers out there that I really enjoy watching. Kristen Martin is one of them. And these author-tubers are achieving so much and working so hard. And when I see everything that they're achieving and everything that they're doing, I get really envious of that because I want to be achieving that. I want to, be setting release dates for my books and doing cover reveals for my books, but I can't do that unless I'm working really, really hard to finish a novel. So I kind of put myself in a position of turmoil and pain in order to get inspired to write, because If I am looking at other people and saying, you're working really hard, I really want to be like that, then that inspires me and helps motivate me to continue working on my project. So again, I don't know if this is something that'll work for you guys, but it's something that really works for me. Jealousy can go a long way. Tip number 8 is to set a schedule for yourself or develop a routine. I am somebody that works really well with a writing routine. However, when it gets disrupted, like it has been lately with my moving and with all of my pet sitting, my writing kind of falls apart, and that's why I haven't been writing as much as I wish I was right now. But if you like routine and if you like schedule, I highly recommend that you set one for yourself and stick to it, because then you know that half hour or that hour or 2 hours, however long of a block of time you can give to your writing, you know that during that time you will be working on your writing, and then you won't have to feel guilty at the end of the day when you don't have any words, any new words written, which is how I feel sometimes. So definitely set a routine or a schedule and stick to it. Tip number 9 is to read more books and get excited about storytelling. Sometimes I personally can get so kind of bogged down with all the work and effort that goes into writing a novel that I forget why I'm doing it and I forget how much I love it. But when I start reading again, it reminds me of why I am a storyteller, why I want to share my stories with other people, and I just get so excited and inspired to write. So if you're feeling guilty and you're feeling like you're not writing very much, maybe just give yourself a break and pick up a book and see how you feel when you're done reading it. Tip number 10 is one that works really well for me, and it is to imagine the cover art on your novel and imagine how it would feel holding it in your hands. My favorite part of the writing process, of the new book process, I guess you could say, is receiving the initial proof copy that I order of my book, because it is the first time I hold it in my hands, I see the cover art, I feel how heavy it is, I can open it and see all those words that I've written. It's the first time I can actually hold up a book and say, this is mine. These are all the hours and hours of blood and tears that I poured into this story, and it's mine, and you can hold it and you can see it, and it feels amazing. If you are somebody that has not yet finished a novel and you don't know what this feels like, oh my gosh, you've got to finish writing your novel, I am telling you, because even if you don't publish it and you don't want other people to read it, finishing that book and ordering even a single proof copy will make you feel phenomenal. Holding my book in my hands is one of my favorite things to do. I am serious. Tip number 11 is my final tip, and that is to remember that only you can tell this story. Even though our stories are almost always similar to somebody else's story or some other trope or theme, you are the only one that can tell this story. Even if I was to give 100 writers one prompt, they would all write a different story, because we all have lived different life experiences and we see the world differently, and that translates into our writing. So don't allow yourself to feel like, oh, my story isn't original, it's not good enough, yada, yada, yada. Just know that your story is completely unique and you're the only one that can tell it, and we want to read it. But before we can do that, you've got to finish the book. All right, guys, so those were my top 11 tips to stay motivated. I certainly have more, so if you need some more like tips and tricks, let me know in the comments down below. This was my first time filming in my new location. I'm pretty excited about it. It definitely took moving around a bit to try to figure out how I wanted the background to look, so please let me know what you think of it. I like this room because it has more furniture in it than the last room I used to film in, and it doesn't echo as much. So I'm hoping that the audio turns out really clear on this video. I am super excited to upload it to the computer and see how it looks. So please let me know what you think of it, because I am really digging this background. All right, guys, so I had a really good time filming this video. It has been so long since I filmed a how-to or a tips and tricks video, and that's just because I've been so ridiculously busy this summer with pet sitting and moving and life. But I'm really seriously looking forward to the fall. I cannot wait until September and October arrive and things calm down a little bit, it gets cooler out, because the heat, I am telling you, the heat in Colorado has been ridiculous and I hate it. I am a winter baby. I like to be in the cool. I like to be in the cold with my boots and my scarves, and my gloves on. I don't like sweltering constantly outside. I have totally gotten off of the schedule that I used to be on, which was vlogs uploaded on Sundays, how-to writing tip videos uploaded on Wednesdays. This video will likely be going up on Saturday, so I am going to get back to a schedule, and I will let you know when I am back on that schedule. But for now, just know that I am working really hard. I'm doing Camp NaNoWriMo. I have a bunch of pet sitting visits, and I will be filming videos as frequently as possible. All right, guys, thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in my vlog. All right, bye!